I need to see if I'm in focus. I think I am. I severely apologize if I am not. My notebook. Whew. I'm already like very nervous about this video. Hey everyone, it's Jesy. If you couldn't see by my face, I'm barefaced, not wearing any makeup. This video is going to be very different from anything I've ever done. I've seen YouTubers before doing like discussion / get ready with me videos, and there was a topic that I wanted to talk about more, and that is the subject of breakups and just love in general, first love specifically, and why I feel it's not portrayed too accurately in young adult fiction. So, first off, if you ask me if I've ever been in love before, the answer is yes. Heyo, my hair is getting really frizzy because it's dry and wet, but I just was uploading to edit and I really wanted to mention this one thing real quick because I never really addressed the subject of the meaning of the word love. So I really wanted to talk about that real quick because I feel like when you're in first love, falling in love, you don't actually know what the meaning of love is or what love is. So I did not know what being in love was. I did not know if what I was in was necessarily called love. One of my favorite quotes that I think describes love really well is, "What is love? Giving someone the power to crush your heart and trusting them not to." I feel like that's one of my favorite powerful quotes about love, and I feel like that kind of is the definition of love, is being so vulnerable and in love with somebody, being so close and open and just trusting them not to hurt you. Being in love with somebody should be somebody who empowers you and lifts you up, not bring you down. It should be somebody who makes you a better person. So that is just a quick thing I wanted to add in there, that not everybody's love is the same. It's your own. Everybody's definition of love is different, but hopefully it is a good love, not a negative one. And yeah, I'm not an expert on love or any relationship, so if you don't agree with anything in this video, that's fine. It's your personal opinion. With that all in mind, continue watching. I hope you enjoy. And this stemmed from the templates on Instagram. I had created one and I got really good feedback about my answer on it. So let me just find my template and read it for you. That way you have like a bit of context of why I wanted to make this video. I got such a good response from that template. It made me so happy that my words kind of helped other people. And I've gotten a DM the other day of somebody saying that she read the book that I recommended and it just made me so happy. Okay, so my template says, what subjects do you want to see more of in young adult literature? I said something I personally would have loved to have was a book about a serious relationship ending and a character dealing with a breakup and finding themselves again. I know there have been many other young people out there who were as lost as I was getting out of a 7+ month relationship. I was so numb and went straight to the lighthearted feel-good books. I didn't know or could not find any young adult breakup books, or at least any that I felt were realistic. This is another reason I'm really picky about young adult contemporary, because I feel like a lot of them are kind of cheesy and don't capture the essence of first love heartbreak correctly. I don't know, maybe my heart is just too big. And the second question was, what books do you think portray an important topic well? I said, I'm a firm believer in Call Me By Your Name by Andre Osman. I think regardless of your sexuality, age, gender, anything, when people read and get to know the story of these two men so energetically in love, they are taken back to when they were first loved by someone. Being set in the 80s as well, it is important to note the trials and separation of something so pure because of the prejudice and closed-minded people. Love is love is love is love. So that's pretty much setting the basis for the discussion topic of this video. I have my makeup in front of me. I'm gonna start getting ready so I don't look like a zombie because I'm very tired. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to talk while doing my makeup, but I wrote down a few very vague notes in here just to like try to keep the conversation flowing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And the reason I wanted to make this video first off was mainly because it was very difficult when none of my friends had gone through anything similar to what I have. And I wish I had someone to talk about these kinds of things with, so that's kind of why I want to make this, so that if you've gone through something similar as I have, or just this discussion topic in general, I want to help others or just at least relate to them. That way they don't feel so alone. So first off, I'm priming my eyelids and then I'm going to do my eyeshadow. I always do my eyeshadow first. So I personally myself have not found a young adult book that has dealt with a breakup, and that's why I am actually going to be writing a book on that. I'm not going to be telling you guys anything about what it's about, but it's very personal to me and has some plot points from my real life and past relationships. So, whoops, I opened this upside down. Shoot. I know a lot of people, it is kind of stereotypicalized that, I mean, it mainly just depends on what kind of breakup you have. If it's a nasty one, somebody cheated, or if it's like a mutual relationship breakup decision. So there's many different kinds of breakups. Personally, I've never seen one like the way that I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. I guess I should probably start at the beginning why I feel that love in books is not portrayed accurately, and then we can move into breakup and post-breakup and all that kind of stuff. First off, since when do characters in young adult books get so experienced and good at kissing? Like, my first kiss, I guess I should start off by saying that I am likely like a hopeless romantic, and one of my biggest problems with going into my first relationship was that I could not stop comparing myself and my relationship to these like seemingly perfect relationships that I saw around me and from the books and movies. I was like, why wasn't my first kiss a magical fairy tale? No offense to my first kiss guy, who that was. I'm not gonna name names, but I was just like, wow, that was not how I was expecting my first kiss. I had no heckin' idea what I was doing. I'm sure neither did he, hardly. It was very awkward. I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Like, it was, my first kiss was something, let me tell you that. I always love telling the story because it's really funny. But anyway, I think that everything is so stereotypicalized in movies and books that a lot of people, girls, boys, get kind of caught up in the moment and trying to make everything so perfect when it's not going to be. And I think it should be, I don't know, it's just, I haven't, in literature and just in general, all these characters have like perfect love stories, perfect first time losing their virginity, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, that is not how it happens. Like, first love is not this fluffy duffy perfect fairy tale. Like, if it's your first time falling in love, it's majorly trial and error because you don't know what you're doing, giving yourself, not really giving yourself away, but being so personally attached and open and close and honest with this person in your life. It's a learning experience, so I don't know, it's just not portrayed well in my opinion, and I think that that's why I feel like it's my duty to write this book that I'm going to be plotting out, because it's gonna have to deal a lot with breakup and first love, and I don't know, I just feel like it hasn't been portrayed accurately. I keep saying that over and over. So yeah, my first love relationship, yeah, it was not perfect whatsoever. We had our issues, everything was a learning experience, especially for me, and I just wish that I would read about a character like me in that position. Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. In case you're wondering what eyeshadows I'm using, I couldn't really tell you because this palette is a palette I made by myself. I just took some other palettes and consolidated them throughout the shadows I didn't like and put all the ones I liked in here. So this is just like a bunch of different eyeshadow palettes. And then I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance, which is like my holy grail eyeshadow palette. I can't really see myself in this tiny mirror, so this makeup's gonna be whack. Oh, and I don't normally wear makeup on a day-to-day basis. The only reason why I'm doing my makeup today is because I'm going prom dress shopping. So I just want it to look halfway decent because on a daily basis I'm a lazy little turd and I don't makeup is too much work. I can't do it. I don't know how people do it every day. I can't hardly see my eyeballs. I'm just throwing some dusty gold on there, hoping it looks good. I already prepped my skin. I got out of the shower and I put my moisturizer on. I use an Origins moisturizer, and I'm gonna go in with my primer and foundation. So I think my eyes are mostly done. Let's talk about dating. I kind of want to get into the subject of dating because I feel like that's a very iffy topic. So when I read like YA contemporary, which I don't read often just because I don't like it, and I feel like everything's either too insta-love, cheesy, or just not realistic. Because I feel like there's these set, standardized relationship things where a guy asks you out, you go on your first date, and things happen from there. He asks you to be a boyfriend. Every person I've dated or boyfriend I've only had one serious boyfriend. Nothing has been by the book. Nothing was a piece of cake. It was totally opposite of the stereotypical line of getting into a relationship. So I just don't like that there's this cookie cut pattern of going out on a date. Like, most times I've gone out on dates, they weren't really called dates because both people in the situation were nervous and didn't really know where the other stood, because communication amongst teens, I feel, is very nerve-wracking, especially when you're like me and have very bad social anxiety. I'm very shy too, so it's a struggle. But still, that's besides the point. I just don't feel like everything's I need to find like new words. I keep saying the same thing over and over. So from the time I was I've always had crushes on guys, and from the time I was like probably middle school, maybe like 14 was when I seriously wanted a boyfriend. Me post-editing again. I just wanted to add in this quick little section that this is out of focus, whatever. Yes, I wanted a boyfriend at 14 because I was never really the popular kid in school. I was always awkward, weird. So no guy ever asked me out, not once. I was the one to like get the phone number, initiate conversation, which honestly I probably took a lot of shortcut routes, like having friends get phone numbers for me, because I am not that socially confident to go up and talk to a guy. So yeah, I have always been the one to ask guys out on dates and like initiate it, and I just always thought something was wrong with me because of that. I was like, why does nobody like me? Why is nobody asking me out? No guy has ever asked me out before, so it's to this day. And there is absolutely freaking nothing wrong with that. So I think what I want to add to that is just say, like, go for it. Don't be afraid. The guy doesn't have to make the first move. You can do it, and guys actually like it when you make the first move. That's really gutsy. And just because nobody's asking you out, I always thought something was wrong with me for years, but you're too cool for them. You're just too cool for them, and you don't need anybody to like define you. That was a big thing I learned after my relationship, was trying to find myself again, and I found that I like being by myself. Having to care for somebody else is a lot of work. A relationship is work. Yes, it shouldn't feel like work, which it won't, but it's like having another person attached to you. I'm getting sidetracked. Just get back into this discussion. I dropped out of normal public school and switched to charter / kind of homeschoolish school because I was having personal issues with my mental health and other things, so it was just best for me. So I didn't really go to a school or had a situation where I could meet people easily. So people that I did meet, people I went out with a few people who were older than me. I just met them in random situations. Like, I went out with a guy who I thought was cute who worked at my favorite restaurant. So yeah, just random situation or meeting them through mutual friends. I just also wanted to add in here real quick that when you're openly looking for a relationship, I found that is when I got my most depressed and frustrated, because I couldn't find anything, or it was just searching too hard. Nothing would happen. I would just meet friends and stuff like that. When I had finally like gone on my edge, had a really bad experience with this one person, I'd like given up, and that is when I met my boyfriend. It all happens when you least expect it. And so far, every time when I've met somebody I've really liked, it's happened when I least expect it, not when I'm actively looking whatsoever. So I just like to tell people when they ask for my advice, don't go actively looking, because honestly, at my age personally, like, I don't need anybody. I could focus on my work and my personal creative endeavors, and I have so much to do that I don't personally need a distraction, but having like a boyfriend would be fun. But yeah, just be patient, and I feel like people come in your life at certain times for a reason, most definitely, most of the time, so it'll happen when it happens. Don't lose hope. Yeah. So I'd gone out, my first date, I believe I was 13. There was this guy at my charter school who I thought was cute, and I was like, hey, you want to go out sometime? Nothing happened. It was awkward, as first dates typically are for most people, I would like to say. Once again, don't feel like it's portrayed accurately in film. Did we have a first kiss on my first date? God, no. I went out with probably 6 guys, I believe. One who I strung along for 3 months without even kissing. I, once again, thought like a first kiss was such a big deal from books and movies that I didn't want to waste it. So I'd gone out on dates. But still, I kept wondering, like, why am I not good enough for these people? Why am I just not connecting with these guys? Why don't I like them? Why don't they like me? And it's not that they didn't like me. Like, most of them thought I was a really cool person. It's just that, oh my god, one guy I went out with was like 4 years older than me on accident. I didn't know how old he was. Whoops. But it's just fun to like talk and get to know people. You have to know, and it's not really talked about. Like, you can go on dates, but is that person gonna be the one for you? And don't get discouraged that they're not. I would get so depressed and sad and discouraged. Like, why am I not finding a guy for me? Like, Jessica, you're 13 through 16. It's fine. But I was still getting so upset because I heard like all these celebrity stories about their first kiss, having their first kiss at like 11, 12, 13. And I was like, what the hell? Why am I so behind on life? But don't let that pressure put you down, because there is no set timeline or instructions for when you're supposed to have your first kiss, lose your virginity. It's all preference. It's something that will happen when it happens. It's just, it's not, I feel, it is a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as some people books or it's like portrayed as. And some books I just feel like it's not portrayed specially enough. Like, it is a big deal for these first time things, but it's also not, because it just depends on your preference and who you're gonna find in your life, who you're gonna love. Maybe your first kiss or the person you lose your virginity to isn't the one, and that's perfectly okay. And nothing is wrong with you if anything doesn't work out, okay? It's the other person's loss, and there are thousands of people, billions of people in the world, and that's one thing you have to learn, like, after a post-breakup. It's kind of hard to learn. I feel like my thoughts are getting really jumbled. I need to stay, like, on track. But one thing I wanted to talk about was, I had read a line in this book that said, I don't want to disappoint him. That line really struck me. I was, like, shocked because, I don't know, maybe I'm just a feminist, but I don't want to disappoint him? What? How many minutes do I have left? I think I have 3. Girl, disappoint him all you want. It's not your thing to worry about. Should you go through life worrying what others think about you? No. Then why should you worry about what this guy or girl is going to think about you? Yes, maybe you want to look pretty on a date, but look pretty for yourself and not trying to impress another person or look any differently or act any differently than you are, because if you are doing those kinds of things, then that isn't the person for you. I learned that through my first boyfriend. The second that we met and started talking, we were like instantly, it was crazy, like best friends, and I never had that type of connection with a person of the opposite gender before, and it kind of was exhilarating and new to me. So just know that if it doesn't work out with somebody, it's not the person, and don't try to change in order to connect with a person. Like, I tried to do that without knowing. Like, one of the first guys I went out with, his movie taste was horrible, and that's one of the things I always ask people, guys, when I first meet them, is what are your favorite movies? Because usually I could tell right then from somebody's favorite movies if we'll connect. Usually the answer is no, because some people's movie taste is just not up my alley. So yes. Also, there's that theory of, like, opposites attract. I don't often believe that that is true, because then it just gets boring. Like, where's my blush? I was talking about this with Caitlin because we were just discussing on a road trip. Yes, you have to have some things in common. Not crazy in common to the point where you're the same person, because I feel like there has to be that good contradiction almost, because that way you're always learning something new from the other person. That's one thing that got in the way of my first serious boyfriend, is because, like, I don't like video games, and often a lot of guys I've gone out with do, and that just got really in the way, which it shouldn't have on my part, because it could have been something fun that I could have learned from, and I was just, we had everything else in the world in common, but there was just these few things that kept getting in the way in my mind, and I was like, we have absolutely nothing in common. Why are we together? Like, it just kept bugging my mind, which it shouldn't have, and I've kind of, like, learned now that it's good to have some things not in common. That's important to learn from the other person. You don't want to be too cookie-cut perfect relationship, because then it just gets boring, and if you have nothing in common, it just gets boring. So you need to have, like, that perfect balance. What was I talking about? Oh, I think I was talking about, like, the not wanting to disappoint him. Girl, do it for you. Am I wearing makeup for anybody else in the world right now? Am I putting on makeup for the camera? No. If I didn't want to not wear makeup in front of the camera, I wouldn't be doing my makeup right now. I'm doing it because I'm about to try on prom dresses, and I'm doing that for me, and I want to look pretty. Or feel good, feel pretty. Plus, it's that time of the month, and I just feel really shitty right now, so gotta do me, boo. I don't know what other topics to talk about. Post-breakup, I feel like we haven't talked about. I don't know if I've hit, like, all the things I want to discuss. My main thing was, I didn't have my first kiss till 17. No, I was 16. So I was just very happy with myself that I had my first kiss, even though it wasn't as I expected it to be. And just because I had my first kiss 16 doesn't mean that's when you have to have yours. Some people will think that's late in life to have their first kiss. Some people will still think it's early. Everything is either preference or chance or when the time comes. So don't base my experiences off of yours. And again, like I was saying earlier, that was my biggest struggle, because I was comparing myself too much to the books, to the movies, to the perfect looking relationships that I saw around me, and I was too blind to see that those relationships were having their major issues as well. So you can't just try to be these other people's relationships, because then it's not authentic, it's not genuine, it's not you. You gotta be yourself, you gotta be real. So let's talk about the breakup section I was in a relationship for like 6.5, almost 7 months, I believe. That was the first person I ever loved, and if you asked me, like, I could even envision marrying that person. Yes, I'm young. I was 17 and it was my first love, and things did not happen at all the way I expected them. Like, I felt so nervous and so scared at some points because I'm like, whoa, this is moving fast. I'm not this kind of person, but you know, everything happens with time, and I wouldn't have changed anything, even though in the moment I was like so nervous about being so intimate with somebody or just being so close and open with somebody. I don't regret anything I've ever done for the world because that person was one of my best friends and still remains one of my best friends to this day. Even though some of my friends hate him, I still love him, and I don't ever want him to leave out of my life because he's such a great person, and my nephew loves him to death. But yes, post breakup, I was a wreck. I didn't say anything to anybody. The phone hung up and I was in my room. I was so numb and I was crying all night. I instantly just put on Netflix, put on Hercules, shoved a box of tissues in front of my face, cried for about 3 days straight. Like, it was really bad. And I don't want to say that's a typical breakup because it depends on how strongly you feel for this person and how long you were together in your circumstances, but breakups are hard. And I have by far not read a book that portrayed a breakup accurately to me. And a lot of breakups are portrayed as girls feeling like they've done something wrong, or just guy or girl feeling like they've done something wrong, like, what did I do? Why is this person breaking up with me? But that is not at all how my breakup went. It was almost a mutual decision because I guess the question in my mind that was stuck, it wasn't that I thought that I wasn't good enough. The question in my mind was kind of two-sided. There was a middle that didn't exist, and I was just, I don't know how to explain it. I was like, there's this question that I will never know the answer to, and that question is, did he love me too much or did I love him too much? Did he love me too little and I love him more than he loved me? So those are the questions that I feel like will never be answered, but I don't know, it's fine. Either way, if I ever got the answer to that question, I don't know, I guess it would hurt either way.
I just wanted to quickly add that question that I was talking about, even if I ever got the answer to it, would I believe it? I would never know. I know how I felt. I can never truly know how that person felt. So it's honestly, all these questions can't honestly ever be truthfully answered in my opinion. So I guess I'll never know. And about the long distance, we weren't too long distance. We only lived 3 hours away. Only I had my license though, so I was the one mostly going up and having to do the traveling a lot, which took a toll on me because sometimes that drive would turn into 5 hours because of traffic. It was miserable sometimes. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that context in there.
It was a long distance relationship, which can also be really hard, and I haven't felt was portrayed accurately in fiction as well. If you guys have any breakup book recommendations, long distance, just first love relationships in general, please let me know. I am severely effing up my eyebrow right now. But yeah, I just feel like there needs to be more accurate representation of breakups because it's a traumatizing thing. I still to this day, been almost half a year something since I and my boyfriend broke up, and am I okay? I would say yes. 2018, I've been better than ever. My mental health this year has been severely drastically changed from the years past, and I'm very proud of myself and for what I've been accomplishing. And I've often learned that I am a very independent person, and I'm really traumatized by my first love, and I love the essence of love, and I learned so much. I'm a completely different person since I've fallen in love. But do I want to fall in love right now? Yes and no. I'm honestly terrified because I don't know what the future has in store with me with college, moving away school-wise because I'm 17, almost 18. So that's pretty scary. And B, like, not knowing what the future holds and giving myself up. Not giving myself up because, like, I'm my own independent person, but being so personally deep with and connected to another person honestly terrifies me, and I am just too nervous to feel that deep pain and hurt again. I'm just not ready, I feel like, even though there is somebody in my life right now who could possibly have the potential of a relationship. I'm gonna be moving slow in the future because I've made new friends and have had relationships since my past relationship. But I feel like that's a thing that needs to be portrayed in a book as well, which is like the book I'm writing, because I feel like there isn't a lot of post-relationship talk, how you deal with finding somebody else and stuff like that, and still remaining friends with like the ex. So there's a balance of things that I feel like need to be discussed. And if you ever, I'm not like an advice guru through. But if there's anything ever that any of you need to talk about, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. Instagram's where I'm most active. I don't really use my Twitter, but please just don't hesitate to ask. I'm not a relationship guru or anything, but I do have my opinions, and I would be more than happy to talk to you if you need help, because I would have loved to have that when I was in a relationship. That was a big thing I dealt with, was a lot of my friends cut me off when I had a boyfriend because I talked to him a lot. He was like my best friend. It was like, he didn't live where I lived, so it's not like I was seeing this person every day. It was just, there was like a lot of jealousy between friends in my life. They never had first love, and they didn't know what I was going through, and they couldn't relate. That's another thing that you'll struggle with in your relationship, is trying to balance your friends with a relationship, which I feel is really important. But trust me, just because other people in your life don't understand doesn't mean that you have to cut them out of your life. They'll learn eventually. My best friend and I drifted apart. My best friend of 8 years drifted apart. We drifted apart for a good few months, but then she found somebody, and then we instantly reconnected again, because she was like, now I understand what you were going through. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. So that is also a big thing I struggle with, and I feel like should be portrayed in fiction, because I feel like other people might be able to relate to that as well. Once I edit this video, I'm probably going to regret. There's going to be a lot of things that I forgot to say that I wish I did, because I just have a lot of things to say about the topic of love, relationships, breakups. I was so stuck being young from the age of 13 to 17. I didn't know what I was doing every guy I went out with. I was so nervous. By the time, every time I went on a first date with somebody, I lost like 5 pounds. I would get so sick to my stomach and nervous that I would literally just drop weight, because I was so anxious and had so much anxiety and stress over seeing somebody, and that's not how it should be. With my first boyfriend, it wasn't like that at all. We were instantly best friends. So like, if there's something in the back of your head saying this isn't right, follow your gut the instant you hear that little conscious voice in your head, because it's right. It's almost always right. I feel like that pretty much wraps up what I have to say. I might make another one of these videos in the future, so if there are topics in young adult fiction and books, or just in life in general, that you want me to talk about and discuss, or more personal subjects in my life you'd like me to discuss, I don't know. There's a lot. If you guys want to know anything, discussion topics, please let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to comment down below if you have anything to add on this discussion topic so we can chat, or please message me on Instagram, because if you need any help, I'd love to be there to help and talk to you guys, or discuss anything out if you're dealing with first love or having issues or anything. I thank you so much for watching. Just remember, you aren't alone. Don't do anything for anyone else. Make sure you're doing things for yourself. Don't try to impress anyone. Just remember to always be true to yourself. Be yourself. That is a big thing. I was mostly myself during my first relationship, but I was still stuck with the comparing to others in books and movies. So just remember that your relationship is your own. I very strongly tried to portray that in my short film video, A Polaroid in the Window, because that is something I greatly struggled with. Again, I have a lot to say. I could talk and be here for days. I think my makeup's done. I didn't really check. It should be. I just did like a plain natural look. So that pretty much wraps it up for this discussion video. Again, message me, comment. I love you guys so much. Don't forget that. I'm so grateful for you all. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. You don't have to, but it would be nice. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!